So damp means earth. The meaning of damp means earth, or we can compare like the mud. Okay. And the heat means heat. So the combination of damp heat sometimes making the stone, or the combination of damp heat is creating the infection. Infection anywhere is the result of damp heat. हमारे शरीर में होने वाला किसी भी तरह का infection damp heat है. So for example, if we talk about the damp heat can create three things. Number one, damp heat can create infection like urinary tract infection. And damp heat can create the stone. And number three, damp heat can create the ulcer, like we see the stomach ulcer. Stomach ulcer. Three things can be created by the damp heat. तो ये तीन चीजें डैम्प हीट के द्वारा क्रिएट की जा सकती है, जैसे स्टोन, किडनी स्टोन, लाइक गॉल ब्लैडर स्टोन, infection like urinary tract infection or colitis, or there are many infections. Ulcer like the stomach ulcer, duodenal ulcer, all type of ulcer. So these are the result of damp heat. So if we talk about the kidney stone, so kidney stone might be damp heat. Even the gall stone might be damp heat. But when we are telling damp heat, it means it's in the infectious condition, or maybe painful condition, maybe some inflammation is there. Inflammation is there. कि जब हम डैम्प हीट बोलेंगे यानी इन्फेक्शियस कंडीशन है, पेनफुल कंडीशन है, कुछ इन्फ्लेमेशन है. But if the stone is silent, then we cannot consider this condition. The silent stone might be throughout the life, not creating any problems. So silent stone might not be coming in the damp heat condition. Silent stone is coldness condition, coldness, or the darkness condition. तो साइलेंट स्टोन को हम कोल्डनेस और डार्कनेस बोलेंगे. द सेम वी टॉक अबाउट द गॉलस्टोन. द मीनिंग ऑफ गॉलस्टोन व्हेन देयर इज इन्फेक्शन, inflammation, infection or the inflammation. So suppose this is the liver and this is the gallbladder and there is a gallstone in gallbladder. So if we are telling a damp heat or the humid heat, it means there is an infection, inflammation. So this is called cholecystitis. Cholecystitis. The meaning of chole means gallbladder, cyst means bag, itis means inflammation. The inflammation of the bag of gallbladder or of the wall of gallbladder. So this is called damp heat. तो डैम्प हीट का मतलब है कि जब गॉलब्लैडर के अंदर इन्फ्लेमेशन है, अगर गॉलस्टोन शांत है तो ये डैम्प हीट नहीं है. Silent gallstone is not the damp heat. One person might be having gallstone and it's silent throughout the life, not creating any complication. Even person not knowing throughout the life that was suffering with the gallstone. After dying, after doing the dissection, then we are finding out, oh, there were gallstone. यानी मृत्यु के बाद ही पता चलता है कि भाई इसको तो गॉलस्टोन था, पर जीवन में इसके कुछ लक्षण थे ही नहीं, गॉलस्टोन की कोई तकलीफ नहीं थी, कोई परेशानी नहीं थी, तो उसे हम डैम्प हीट नहीं बोलेंगे. दैट इज नॉट द डैम्प हीट. Sometimes people might be having combined condition. Combined condition means humid heat in the gallbladder, so gallstone, humid heat in the urinary bladder, so UTI. There might be combined condition also. So damp heat can create three things. Number one, infection. Number two, stone. And number three, ulcer. Ulcer. So we talk about the wherever the damp heat will go, it will create one of the three things, either the infection or the stone or the ulcer. डैम्प हीट एक तेजाब की तरह, जैसे जलता हुआ तेजाब, तेजाब किसी कहीं डाल दो तो क्या होगा, तेजाब कहीं डाल दो तो वो जगह जल जाएगी। ऐसे पेट में डैम्प हीट बढ़ गया तो अल्सर बन जाएंगे। सो डैम्प हीट इज वेरी एग्रेसिव फ्लूइड, एग्रेसिव लिक्विड. It will burn the internal skin, will create the ulcer, or it will create the very severe inflammation in the wall, right? Wall, like the wall of gallbladder, wall of kidney, wall of colon, anywhere, wherever the damp heat, it will create the infection, inflammation. If the damp heat in the muscle, then muscle will not work. Wherever the damp heat, it will create very severe problem, right? जहां भी डैम्प हीट बढ़ेगी, बड़ी बड़ी बीमारियां पैदा करेगी. डैम्प हीट वाले लोग बड़ी बड़ी बीमारियों के शिकार होते हैं. Sometimes the person has to run to the hospital, and sometimes the problem is very, very chronic, and even the person, the disease is not having any treatment. I will give you a few examples. Suppose, let's discuss few example here. Okay, I'm giving one example. Let's see. Suppose a damp heat in the urinary tract. अगर पेशाब के रास्ते में डैम्प हीट बढ़ गई, so it will create UTI, urinary tract infection. And you know, one very common thing about the UTI, if the person is having UTI, getting the frequent attack of the UTI, sometime every 3 months, and sometime after every 6 months, sometime once in a year. अगर किसी व्यक्ति को यूटीआई है तो बार बार यूटीआई का शिकार होगा, क्योंकि उसके अंदर डैम्पनेस का निर्माण हो रहा है स्प्लीन की कमजोरी से. स्प्लीन इज वीक, creating the dampness. Little heat will create the infection. So try to understand this concept. See, the person is having poor spleen, only everything is starting from this point. Now spleen, poor spleen will make the dampness. Now the nature of dampness is like a cuff flame. It will create the blockage. Then because of the blockage, heat will rise. In the future, there is a rising of heat. So the combination of damp heat will create the infection, inflammation in this way. So I have seen one patient. He's having UTI every 6 months. Every 6 months. Why the every 6 months? Then running to the doctor, giving some medicine. Then after 6 months, again UTI. What is the treatment? The treatment is this. First, you remove the dampness. If you remove the dampness, there will not be blockage. If there is no blockage, heat will not rise. So the root cause is remove the dampness. If you want to cure the patient permanently, अगर आप पेशेंट को परमानेंटली ठीक करना चाहते हैं तो पहले डैम्पनेस को निकालिए. और अगर इन्फेक्शन हो गया है, पेशेंट को यूटीआई हो चुका है, द पर्सन इज ऑलरेडी गॉट द यूटीआई, पर्सन इज ऑलरेडी गॉट द अटैक, देन यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन बोथ कंडीशन, damp and the heat, both condition, right? So the condition number one, which I told you, urinary tract infection. The second condition, when the damp heat attack on the gallbladder, the person is getting either the gallstone or the jaundice. I have seen many persons, they are getting the jaundice every 2 years, sometimes every 1 year. Many persons are getting the jaundice. One patient, in 1 year, he is suffering 2 to 3 times, sometimes jaundice, sometimes typhoid, sometimes jaundice, sometimes typhoid. So jaundice means in the liver, typhoid means in the intestine. Okay, sometimes humid heat attacking in the liver, sometimes attacking in the intestine, right? Ultimately, we need to work on the humidity, we need to work on the spleen. तो अगर हमने ह्यूमिडिटी को ठीक कर दिया तो फिर ये चेन ब्रेक हो जाएगी, नहीं तो डैम्प हीट का आक्रमण अगर गॉल ब्लैडर पर होगा, या तो गॉल स्टोन बनेगा या जॉइंटिस पैदा होगी, इन दोनों में से कुछ ना कुछ पैदा होगा, दोनों भी हो सकते हैं, इवन द बोथ कंडीशन माइट बी अपीयर. So the damp heat attacking on the colon or the large intestine, right? So it will create colitis or ulcerative colitis. Colitis or the ulcerative colitis, and might be some other problem which is having connection with the colon, right? Every time patient will be getting, these problems are very frequent. Even the person is changing little food habit will suffer with the colitis. You see any patient who is having colitis, always in the fear, oh, I will not eat this, I will not eat that. As soon as you eat, getting the frequent diarrhea, foul smell diarrhea. Remember, whenever damp heat will create foul smell, because heat is creating a smell and dampness is creating turbidity, dirtiness. So dirtiness and the smell. If the UTI, smell in the urine. If there is an inflammation of the colon, smelly stool. So whichever the part affected, it will be smelling a lot, right? तो ये लक्षण है डैम्प हीट का. डैम्पनेस यानी गंदगी, हीट यानी बदबू, गर्मी से बदबू आती है. तो अगर डैम्प हीट का आक्रमण यूरिनरी ब्लैडर पर हुआ तो पेशाब में बदबू आएगी, और अगर कोलोन में हुआ तो स्टूल में बदबू आएगी, राइट? So if the stool in the Ayurveda, we are doing the examination that way. Okay, your stool is sticky. Your stool is sticky. If you are putting the water, it's not going easily. It means there is a dampness. Because if there is a dampness, stool will become sticky. Stickiness is the characteristic of the dampness, right? अगर स्टूल चिपकता है तो डैम्पनेस है, आराम से बह जाता है तो डैम्पनेस नहीं है. If the stool is foul smelly, heat, right? So in this way we will find out and we can arrest the problem in very initial stage. हम बीमारी को शुरुआत की अवस्था में ही मिटा सकते हैं. So in this way, the colitis and the ulcerative colitis is the condition. There is a inflammation in the colon. इस व्यक्ति को कोलोन में इन्फ्लेमेशन हो जाता है. or colon or the large intestine. Now, if the damp heat attacking on the stomach, it will burn the wall of the stomach, the inner wall of the stomach, and creating stomach ulcer, or we are telling it gastric ulcer. So stomach ulcer or the gastric ulcer. Even I will tell you, stomach or the gastric ulcer. If you are not arresting the humid heat on the time, अगर आपने ह्यूमिड हीट को समय रहते अरेस्ट नहीं किया, तो आगे चल के यह बढ़कर कैंसर तक की अवस्था पैदा कर सकती है. इवन इट माइट क्रिएट द कैंसरस कंडीशन. ह्यूमिड हीट. What is cancerous condition? When the dirtiness is increasing, keep on increasing, and heat is keep on increasing, then it will become cancerous condition, right? So there are many persons suffering with a colon cancer. Okay. Especially in the other countries. In India also there are people suffering with a colon cancer, but in other countries like in the US, the percentage of colon cancer is very high. Okay. So every country is having some special diseases. Like in India, some other diseases are very high. In India, the mouth cancer is very high, right? In the same way, in the US, colon cancer is very, very high. It depends on the food habits. So when the damp heat attacking on the stomach, it will create the stomach ulcer. So when you are planning to do the treatment of the stomach ulcer, what is the treatment? The treatment is treat the damp heat in the stomach. That is the treatment, right? So in this way, if we talk about the small intestine, अगर हम small intestine की बात करें, if the damp heat attacking on the small intestine means we can divide the small intestine in 3 parts. So if this is the stomach, this is the first part of the small intestine. The first part of small intestine. The other name of this part is duodenum. Then there is a second part of the small intestine that is called jejunum. Then the third part of small intestine that is called ileum. So a small intestine is made by 3 parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The 3 parts of a small intestine. The small intestine is a very, very important part of the human body. There are lots of absorption, digestion happening in the small intestine. हमारे शरीर में small intestine बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण part है. If the damp heat in the small intestine, then it will create duodenitis. It will create duodenal ulcer. Ulcer in the duodenum. or it will create some problem in the jejunum or the ileum. Here I would like to bring a focus. So this is the food pipe. This is the stomach. And this is the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. If the ulcer is happening in the stomach, we are telling it gastric ulcer. If the ulcer is happening in the duodenum, we are telling it duodenal ulcer. So gastric ulcer is due to the damp heat here, and duodenal ulcer because of the damp heat here. तो जहां भी damp heat बढ़ेगी वहां पर अल्सर पैदा हो जाएगा. So when you are eating the food is coming in the stomach directly. Then after few hours, food is reaching to the duodenum. तो जब भी हम खाना खाते हैं, पहले खाना डिओडिनम में आता है, पहले खाना स्टमक में आता है, और कुछ घंटे के बाद डिओडिनम में जाता है. तो पहले खाना कहाँ आता है? स्टमक में आता है. So the person is suffering with the stomach ulcer will get the immediate pain after eating. Immediate pain. तो जो व्यक्ति को गैस्ट्रिक अल्सर होगा, खाना खाते ही पेट में दर्द होगा. So person will be scared with eating. Person is hungry but still doesn't want to eat something because he fear, oh, I will eat this and I will get the gastric pain. अगर मैंने खाया तो पेट में दर्द होगा. तो जिसके स्टमक में अल्सर होता है उसको खाना खाते ही पेट में दर्द. But the person is having duodenal ulcer, having pain after few hours. Maybe you have taken the dinner at the 9 p.m. in the night and you are having pain at the 11 p.m. or the 12 p.m. or sometime 1 p.m., 1 a.m. in the night. Midnight pain. So the pain which is happening not immediately after eating the food, but after a few hours, it might be 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. That is duodenal ulcer. खाना खाने के तुरंत बाद दर्द हो तो वो पेट का अल्सर है, स्टमक का अल्सर है. और खाना खाने के कुछ घंटे के बाद पेट में दर्द हो तो वो डिओडिनल अल्सर है. ये पहचान है. Right? In this way, whatever the condition, wherever the problem, but if the person is having ulcer, we are going to treat damp heat. हम damp heat का इलाज करेंगे. In this way, small intestine is getting the damp heat. So the person might be suffer with the duodenal ulcer. But small intestine is also having very deeper connection with the heart. Small intestine का हमारे हार्ट से भी बड़ा गहरा संबंध है. We know that. So person is also getting tongue ulcer. So tongue ulcer or the duodenal ulcer might be because of the damp heat in the small intestine. Tongue ulcer definitely might be because of the heart also. But the tongue ulcer and the duodenal ulcer both might happen because of the damp heat in the small intestine. अगर हमारी small intestine में damp heat होगी तो duodenum में भी अल्सर हो सकता है और जीभ में भी छाले आ सकते हैं. Not only this, if you look at the root of the small intestine meridian, let's see here. अगर आप small intestine का root देखें, so this is the small intestine meridian. Definitely it's passing from the small intestine. It's a passing from the heart. That's why it's having connection with the heart. right? But if you look at here, the small intestine meridian reaching till the ear, this is the last point of the small intestine meridian, that is SI 90. If the person is having any problem with it, which is connected with the ear, we always think about the small intestine. अगर व्यक्ति को कानों में कोई भी तकलीफ है तो भी हम स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन को के कारण समझ सकते हैं. So suppose if the person is telling you, doctor, I am having mouth ulcer, or we can tell tongue ulcer, right? Plus some deafness or some problem of ear problem. If the person is suffering with a mouth ulcer or the tongue ulcer and the deafness, so deafness is having connection with the small intestine and the tongue ulcer is also having connection with the small intestine, then we are going to treat damp heat in the small intestine. Now we talk about the kidney. अगर हम kidney की बात करें, if the damp heat in the kidney, it will make kidney stone, right? We already discussed. It will be painful. If the person is having damp heat in the liver, then person will be suffering with the jaundice. तो कई बार आता है कि भाई जॉइंटिस को हम क्या करें, जॉइंटिस का इलाज कैसे करें, तो आपको डायग्नोसिस यही है. What is jaundice? The meaning of jaundice means damp heat in the liver or maybe liver and gallbladder. So the person is having damp heat condition. एक व्यक्ति जिसे damp heat condition है liver में. So this is the liver. And there is a damp heat in the liver. So it will create jaundice, as well as it will create the pain in this area. That is called pain in hypochondria. Hypochondria. You are well aware with the hypochondrium. आप hypochondrium जानते ही हैं. So look at this image. We can divide the abdomen in 9 parts. हम पेट को 9 भागों में बांट सकते हैं. So this is hypochondria. Hypochondria. Right? Hypochondria. So this part is just below the ribs. Just below the ribs. That's why this is called hypochondrium, because in the ribs we have cartilaginous part. हमारे पसलियों में जो कार्टिलेजिनस पार्ट होता है, हमारी हर एक पसली के अंदर एक कार्टिलेजिनस पार्ट होता है. If you look at this rib, any rib, so the front part of the rib, this part is having cartilage. This is a very smooth and soft part of rib. The meaning of cartilage means in the other language it's called chondrium. So just below this area, this is called hypochondrium, means below the cartilage. Hypochondrium. So pain in the hypochondrium is the sign of liver disharmony. अगर किसी को hypochondrium में पेन होता है तो liver disharmony की निशानी है. So when the damp heat in the liver, it will get jaundice as well as the pain in the hypochondrium. Why this point is useful? The point is useful because now if you want to treat the jaundice, this is your diagnosis, right? ये आपकी diagnosis है कि आपको क्या treat करना है, आपको damp heat का इलाज करना है. This is the diagnosis. In the same way, if the damp heat is increasing in the heart, so this is the heart. What is normal heart? What is normal heart? If the heart is empty, that is called good heart and the normal, right? Because empty heart, in the empty heart, we are feeling a very wonderful energy. That energy is called Shen. The Shen will be residing in the heart only in the condition if heart is empty. Shen means calmness. तो अगर हार्ट हमारा खाली होगा तभी हार्ट में शेन का निवास होता है. But suppose if heart is filled with the dampness and with the heat, so dampness will create dullness. Like if the cloud is there, we can't see the sky. अगर cloud होंगे हम बादल नहीं देख पाते. In the same way, if there is a dampness in the heart, then person is not having clear perception. Person is having lots of doubts. And dampness is making dull. Dampness is making person dull. On the other side, heat in the heart creating irritability and hyperactivity. So sometimes person is very dull, sometimes hyperactive. Dull because of the dampness and hyperactive because of the heat. This condition is called mania, means emotional fluctuation. तो व्यक्ति को मैनिया होगा. मैनिया का मतलब है कि व्यक्ति का दिमाग स्थिर नहीं होगा. एक पल में डिप्रेस, पल भर में डिप्रेस एंड पल भर में एक्साइटेड. डिप्रेस इज ड्यू टू dampness, excited due to heat. तो व्यक्ति एक पल भर में तो डिप्रेस होगा, एक पल भर में एक्साइटेड होगा. So these persons are having too much emotional fluctuation. What we need to treat? We need to treat damp heat in the heart. हमें हार्ट के अंदर बढ़ी हुई damp heat को ट्रीट करना होगा. This is called mania. Mania means depression and excitement together. Is it clear? One person is going outside in the cold air and getting urticaria, red spot. Or person is going in the swimming pool with the reaction of the chlorine getting urticaria, right? So urticaria means the red spots and the eruptions. Or the person is eating the brinjal and getting urticaria. So the different person is getting urticaria from the different aggravating factors. कोई व्यक्ति हवा में घूमने जाता है, ठंडी हवा में, और चमड़ी पर लाल लाल रंग के चकत्ते पड़ जाते हैं। कोई दूसरा व्यक्ति स्विमिंग पूल में जाता है और क्लोरीन के रिएक्शन से चकत्ते पड़ जाते हैं। कोई तीसरा व्यक्ति कुछ खाता है जैसे बैगन या कोई अन्य वस्तु, तो स्किन में चकत्ते पड़ जाते हैं। So when the person is having urticaria, as per the TCM, it's the damp heat in the body, the combination of dampness and heat in the body. So when anyone is complaining, you doctor, I'm suffering with the allergies. Whenever I'm eating something and I'm getting eruptions, so what we have to treat? We have to treat damp heat. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now we will be learning very shortly that how to treat the damp heat. Pain in the hypochondrium, whether the right or the left, both are connected with the liver. Okay, both are connected. If the person is eating the wheat and getting the allergy, so that is also damp heat. Anything damp heat if getting the urticaria. Urticaria creates why? Urticaria created by damp heat. See, suppose you are going outside, there is a coldness, cold air, and whatever the cause, if it's coming in your body and you are getting red spots, that is damp heat. कोई भी कारण हो, चाहे आप ठंडी हवा में गए, चाहे पानी से नहाए, चाहे आपने कुछ खा लिया, बैगन, आलू, दूध, गेहूं, और उसके कारण अगर आपके शरीर के अंदर, आपकी चमड़ी के ऊपर लाल रंग के चकत्ते बन गए, तो वो डैम्प हीट है। हमें डैम्प हीट का इलाज करना होगा। अगर आप सूरज की रोशनी में गए और चकत्ते बन गए, तब भी आपको डैम्प हीट का इलाज करना होगा। Whatever the thing, even the person is having any disease associated like the diabetes type 1, but the person is getting urticaria, then we need to work on the damp heat. हमें damp heat पर काम करना होगा। So in this way, damp heat play a very important role, one very important role, right? Like look at the, suppose this is a human body. And we talk about the pericardium meridian. The pericardium is the covering of heart, covering of heart. So the pericardium meridian is very deeply affecting the heart. Pericardium meridian हमारे हार्ट को बहुत प्रभावित करता है। Suppose if the damp heat in the pericardium, if the damp heat in the pericardium, so these are the blood vessels, right? The wall of the blood vessel will become, the wall of the blood vessel will become hard. This condition is called arterial sclerosis. Sclerosis. I will explain you once again. Arterial sclerosis. Suppose, so look at here. This is the pipeline. When I brought first time, it was very soft and smooth, even I can twist very easily, right? Very flexible, very elastic. But after many years, it become very hard. Even I can't bend it. Have you seen this? Even in the kitchen, we can see the pipeline connect with the gas cylinder. Initially, it's very flexible, but in many years, it become very hard. Am I right or not? So the hardness is sclerosis. Hardness means sclerosis. कि जब भी कोई पाइपलाइन हम लाते हैं तो एकदम सॉफ्ट होती है, एकदम फ्लेक्सिबल होती है, कहीं से भी मोड़ दो ऐसे कहीं से भी, लेकिन कुछ वर्षों में कड़क हो जाती है, फिर मुड़ती नहीं है। तो जो कड़क हो जाती है, कड़क होने को ही कहते हैं स्क्लेरोसिस। कोई भी चीज कड़क हो जाए, if anything becoming hard, that is called sclerosis. Like when the artery is becoming very hard, called arterial sclerosis. Artery should not be hard because artery need to pump the blood. Sometimes artery become like this because of the elasticity, so more blood will go with the easy pressure, slow pressure. Because if artery become big, then more blood will go, but slowly. Sometimes artery becoming narrow, then blood will go with a fast speed. So arteries are doing this exercise as per the need, right? तो हमारे शरीर में पाई जाने वाली आर्टरी कभी मोटी हो जाती है ताकि ब्लड आराम से जाए, कभी पतली हो जाती है ताकि ब्लड तीव्र गति से जाए। लेकिन अगर आर्टरी की दीवार हार्ड हो गई तो क्या ऐसा हो पाएगा? क्या आर्टरी ऐसा कर पाएगी? Whether artery will able to do this thing? No. Then artery will not able to expand or contract. That condition is called arterial sclerosis. It is a very common condition nowadays happening with the people. So now they will be suffering with the blood pressure or some heart condition. So when the damp heat attacking on the pericardium, this condition is called arterial sclerosis, means hardening of the arteries, right? When you see the report of the patient, these all things are written. If you see the patient suffering with a high blood pressure, middle-aged people, they are having sclerosis condition. मिडिल एज में तो बड़ा आम है, कॉमन है कि लोगों को अक्सर स्क्लेरोसिस हो जाती है, राइट? आर्टेरियल स्क्लेरोसिस हो जाती है। तो हमें क्या करना होगा? हमें पेरिकार्डियम में डैम्प हीट का इलाज करना होगा। We need to treat the damp heat in the pericardium, then will able to treat this condition. So damp heat in the pericardium is responsible for arterial sclerosis and also high blood pressure. This condition is creating high blood pressure, and the patient suffering with a high blood pressure, this condition is very normal, damp heat in the pericardium, and it's creating arterial sclerosis, means hardening of the arteries, or we can tell hardening of the wall of arteries. Right now, in this way, suppose if the damp heat is attacking in lower warmer, in genital, so male are suffering with the prostate enlargement. अगर डैम्प हीट का आक्रमण लोअर वार्मर में जेनिटल में हो गया तो प्रोस्टेट इनलार्जमेंट हो जाता है। So what is the treatment? What is the diagnosis of the prostate enlargement? The prostate enlargement, nothing but damp heat in the lower warmer. So remove the dampness, remove the heat if you want to treat the prostate enlargement. Right? So we can work in this way. In the same way, if the damp heat attacking on spleen, because spleen is responsible, but damp heat sometimes attack on the spleen, then person is getting diarrhea. Okay, diarrhea. Spleen is having connection with the diarrhea, but this diarrhea will be having foul smell. डायरिया होगा लेकिन फॉल स्मेल भी होगी. Whenever there is involvement of the spleen, person will be suffering with the diarrhea, right? In this way, there is a very critical condition that is called myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis. The meaning of gravis means very serious. And myasthenia means having connection with the muscle weakness. तो ये एक बहुत ही एक बीमारी होती है जिसे माइस्थीनिया ग्रेविस कहते हैं. ग्रेविस का मतलब है बहुत गंभीर और माइस्थीनिया का मतलब है मसल की कमजोरी. So as per the TCM, how to treat the myasthenia gravis? First, we should know the diagnosis. So diagnosis is this: when damp heat attacking on the lung as well as spleen, then it's creating myasthenia gravis disease. Okay, in this way, whenever you want to do the treatment, first thing is a diagnosis. पहली चीज होती है कि डायग्नोसिस करना कि आखिरकार आप क्या करोगे. अब माइस्थीनिया ग्रेविस में क्या होता है? What is happening in the myasthenia gravis? In the myasthenia gravis, there is severe weakness of the spleen, not able to hold any muscle. Even ear are hanging down, cheeks are hanging down, breast, even in the male, chest is hanging down, abdominal valley is hanging down, whole body skin is hanging down in the myasthenia gravis, because spleen is not at all lifting. Even lung is not at all giving any energy. So person is having severe weakness in the body, myasthenia gravis. So this is the damp heat attack over the lung as well as spleen. So we have done the diagnosis. Now we will be looking the treatment in the next class. Okay, अब हम इसका treatment अगली class में समझेंगे. So enough for today. Let's close the session. Now, lower Barmer means genital. Lower Barmer genital will create problem of the prostate enlargement. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain-Barré syndrome is the disease. There is one disease that is called Guillain-Barré syndrome. In the Guillain-Barré syndrome, what's happening? Degeneration of the myelin sheath in the brain, right? Myelin sheath in the brain. That is also damp heat attack. The attack of damp heat, okay, on the nervous system, right? That is also damp heat. So damp heat is responsible for creating erosion, ulcer. Even the myelin sheath is getting erosion because of the damp heat attack, right? So Guillain-Barré syndrome, today I discussed in the master tongue class about the myelin sheath. Remember? Myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is like suppose there is some wire. Okay, myelin sheath can be considered like I given a very good example. Like you want to cross the river. In the river there are multiple stones. So you're jumping from one stone to next stone, then next stone, then next stone, then you're crossing the river. So in the same way, over the neuron, we are having myelin sheath, then we don't have myelin sheath, then again myelin sheath, then we don't have myelin sheath, then again we have myelin sheath. So when the neuron are passing the message jumping from myelin sheath to the myelin sheath, jumping like this. But in the Guillain-Barré syndrome, there is a degeneration of the myelin sheath. So message pass slowly. Then slowly, person is not able to move the arm, legs, and even sometimes just lying down on the bed, there is no movement. Slowly, body is getting in the degeneration mode, right? That is the Guillain-Barré syndrome. The root cause is degeneration of the myelin sheath or the attack of damp heat. So now we'll discuss the all treatment tomorrow. Thank you so much. Closing the session now.